Hi guys, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Hope you guys are really well. I haven't been on screen at all really, have I, during this time? I'm just enjoying sort of kicking back and just showing the cards. You can see me in a little square. If you're looking at the box and you can see a girl with a cheesy grin and cards, that's me, Carol, okay? Usually I am on screen, but lately I've just fancied just showing off the lovely decks that I've got so you can really take a good look at everything. So, we're doing a week ahead, 1st to the 7th of June. Happy June, everyone. And we're going to use 3 different decks. The Golden Wheel, I've had this ages, just haven't used it for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's such a nice deck. So I started using this for my clients last week, and it's just a really nice deck. We're also using the Gilded Tarot Royale. This is a new deck. Got this about a week and a half ago also. Chira Marchetti and Barbara Moore. Text by Barbara Moore. It's really, really nice. Really love using this deck. And also my trusty old mucker, the This Might Hurt Tarot deck by Isabella Rotman. I'm going to have to get another deck of this. I'm going to have to get a backup copy because this one's getting a bit ripped on this. Not ripped, but it's getting a bit crusty on the sides. Because when you use tarot so much, your edges get really kind of funny and worn and that type of thing. And it was actually a really nice edged, you know, deck. It had like a lovely kind of blue kaleidoscopy type thing, but now it doesn't look like that anymore because this is the deck I use the most, especially with private clients. I use this one the most. I love this deck, so we're using that. I thought for spiritual advice, or just advice for the week, guys, we'd use the Crazy Sexy Love Notes by Chris Carr. Bought this a few months ago, haven't used it as much, but I'm sure it's going to work out really well. So guys, sit back, relax and enjoy. Hi Scorpio, welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much for joining me on your week ahead reading. We're doing the 1st of June through to the 7th of June, so Monday 1st through to Sunday 7th of June, so happy June everyone. We're going to be doing a general reading and also a general reading, a career reading and also love reading for the week. So for your general, we use the Tarot of the Golden Wheel. For your career, we use the Gilded Tarot Royale by Chira Marchetti. And for love, we're using the This Might Hurt Tarot by Isabella Rotman. Okay, let's get shuffling. Okay, Scorpio, let's have a look at the reading. So, your general sort of message, guidance, advice this week. The 3 of Wands. So, really this is about, 3 of Wands is all about having a vision, launching something new. You know, you have the Ace of Wands, which is the new idea. And then with the 2 of Wands, we're planning, we're strategizing, and with the 3 of Wands, we're then launching it. Okay, so this could be about launching something new this week. 3 of Wands can also be about reaching out to others, networking. It's about, you know, business relationships, the 3 of Wands, that type of thing. It can also be about waiting and longing for things as well. Sometimes this is known as the card that talks about your ships coming in. Wow, the Lovers energy showing here. So, I feel that this week, generally, it feels like with the Lovers, because the Lovers can be a choice. And often when I see the Lovers and it's got one person standing between 2 people, it's like this person's got a choice between 2 paths that they can take. So it may be that this week there is some form of a new enterprise, or it may be that for some of you Scorpios, you're launching something here, but it may be that you've got a choice here concerning that 3 there. All right, because the 3 of Wands can be about, I think it's very much launching something this week. For some of you guys, something new may be launching with the 3 of Wands energy. But it may be that you have a decision over which path you're going to take with that Lover's energy showing there, okay? I feel that with the High Priestess, there are things that are still unresolved, or things that are hidden, or things that are still not coming to light concerning whatever maybe that 3 of Wands is there. And I feel with the 8 of Swords energy, it feels like this is something that may be very frustrating for some of you guys, because the 8 of Swords represents feeling frustrated and angry and having lots of negative thoughts and that type of thing. So I actually feel, and actually your intuition as well may be blocked with the 8 of Swords energy. It might be negated by that 8, because the 8 of Swords is a card that represents the negative thoughts that one has. And it may be with the intuition of the High Priestess, it may be that your intuition seems to be blocked by all the negative thinking that you have with the Eight of Swords. So I do feel that there may be an enterprise or something enterprising that is launching for some of you guys this week, Scorpio. But I think you've got a choice concerning the path that you take. It might be because something within that enterprise of the Three of Wands seems to be hidden. There's something that's not adding up, or there's something that is unresolved, or there's something that is disguising itself. It just feels like something might be quite confusing about that Three of Wands. Whatever it is that's launching in your life this week for some of you Scorpios, it's not making much sense, I think. Something is still hidden, it's unresolved with that Three of Wands energy. This could be, as I've said, an enterprise, business partners, working with new people, that type of thing. And you have a choice between two paths. But I feel that your intuition, I think you kind of know what direction you should take, but I think that your intuition might be blocked by all the negative thoughts. So you may want to go in one direction concerning this, but you might be saying, shit, if I go in this direction, what if I get it wrong? Which is what the Eight of Swords, the Eight of Swords is often the devil on the shoulder that says, don't do this, because if you do this, you're going to fail, or it's all going to go wrong. So it might be that your intuition is telling you one thing, but the devil on the shoulder of the Eight of Swords is kind of negating that intuition. You know, it's dumbing it down a bit. So let's have a look at the next card here. The Queen of Swords energy showing here. The Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is, and I think that this Eight of Swords is blocking your ability to be, you know, critical, to be, you know, to look at things as they are, truthfully, because that's what the Queen of Swords does often. I'm not going to read this as a person. I think it's more of an energetic and more of an energy, to be perfectly honest with you, Scorpio, because the Eight of Swords, if you look at the Queen of Swords, she's very clear. She can see things very clearly. This is blocking your objective thinking, basically, because the Eight of Swords is not really rational thinking. The Eight of Swords is very similar to a Nine of Swords, where the things that you're thinking are not really honest. They're all based, I mean, Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords, for me, they're cards that are based on fearful thinking. And we've got two cards here, the High Priestess and the Queen of Swords, that represent the ability to intuit a situation and the ability to look at something objectively. All right, so one represents science, Queen of Swords, and one represents faith. So in a way, for the first time, we have science and faith interjecting on the same path. They're both in conjunction with one another. So there's a situation here in which your intuition is telling you to do something and you can objectively see why you should do it. But that negative thinking is standing in the way of you allowing your intuition to infiltrate the objectivity that you see, the objective thinking of that queen. All right. And that's why I think that is a message that this is a week for really kind of trying not to allow your fears to overtake you this week, because that's what the Eight of Swords does. That's what its role is. Its role is to put the fear of God into you. Oh my goodness, if I do this, if I do that, what if I get it wrong? What if I make a choice and then it's the wrong one? What's going to happen? This, that, and the other, you know? So it's interesting. It might be something to do with money. I don't know what this card is yet here, but it may be something financial or something like that. But I do feel there's a new enterprise here, but I think you've got a choice between whether you continue maybe on that path there or whether you do something else, because you've got a choice between two paths. I think that the Lover's energy concerning a new enterprise. I think that your intuition here, the intuition will say to you, probably not to continue on this path, but your intuition, I think, is being negated by that Eight of Swords, by the negative thoughts you have. And I think that these negative thoughts you've got are not allowing you to see the situation objectively with the Queen of Swords. Okay, so if you can, don't tap into the fear, tap into the truth. And that's the general. Let's have a look at what the work situation is this week. I'm seeing some... Sorry, but I am seeing some discontentment. You've been given something, Scorpio, but you're not entirely happy with what you've been given, funnily enough, with the Four of Cups energy showing here. And I feel that with the Tower energy, the Tower could be that something, you know, this is there's a radical change here with the Tower energy showing here. We've got but then, you know, the Tower and the Ace of Coins, I often think when the Tower shows and the Ace of Coins shows, it's good, because or any coin card, I actually feel that this is unexpected money sometimes coming in. So even though I feel that you're not happy maybe in what you're doing, or there's some offer or something that you have been given, but you're not 100% happy with it, the Tower and the Ace of Coins, for me, when the Tower shows before a coin card, to me it's unexpected money. Let's have a look here at the next card. But there are worries. So let's have a look. It's been kind of aspected by that Nine of Swords. There's anxiety here about change. You're anxious about changes, though. You're anxious about changes here. The Wheel of Fortune, or bringing something to us at the end of its cycle. Because the Wheel of Fortune is ending the cycle as well before you move on to the next phase. All right, so it's completing a stage. You may be worried about completing a stage here. So ending something, ending a cycle, because this can be the ending of a cycle here. Not happy here. Not happy. But this also, if you look about the Ace of Coins as well, I don't think this is sudden money because it's a career reading. This might be about suddenly leaving a job. You're not happy. And it may, I think that in terms of work, for some of you guys, for some reason, there's a lack of, you're not 100% contented with what you've been given. All right. And it may be that you may be thinking about just leaving, just up and leaving a job, because the Ace of Coins can be the job. And that can be just suddenly leaving. So some of you guys may be suddenly thinking about leaving a job here, but you're worried about what the next phase is going to be. Well, what's the next stage going to be? If I leave this job suddenly, what's the next stage going to be? That might be factoring into this energy here where you're, you know, starting this enterprise with the Three of Wands. You're launching something new. Wands represent career as well. So they might be launching something of a career thing here. But you may have a choice between two paths because something is hidden in terms of this. Something doesn't add up, I think, with the High Priestess, which might be why some of you guys are not completely happy with what's being given here. It may be that you're thinking suddenly, you know, to just leave, just up and leave the job. You're worried about the next phase, though. If I leave, what's the next phase? And that might be kind of connecting in with this, where it's saying that, you know, there's this new enterprise, but you've got a choice here to make with the Lover's energy, because something is not adding up with that High Priestess. There's something that is being hidden here, and it feels like your intuition may be saying to you with the High Priestess, especially if we're connecting it in with the work reading, maybe you should just up and leave the job. But your intuition is negated by the worry, the fear with that Eight of Swords energy, the negative thoughts about, you know, that bring on this worry about, shit, well, what would the next phase be? All right. So this fear here, this intuition maybe to leave this job for some of you guys here, is being negated with the negative thoughts, okay? But you're kind of blocking out the true objective here, seeing things clearly. This negative thought is not allowing you to see things objectively and clearly, okay? So it's more about you tapping into fear as well in the work thing, because I think something's not working out work-wise for some of you Scorpios this week, and you really are kind of heavily thinking about leaving this thing, but you're worried about, well, if I leave it, what's going to be the next stage? Or, you know, if I leave this job, you know, I'm worried about the money. I'm worried about, you know, I'm saving money to do this, or this. Well, what's going to happen next? So I'm worried about also what's going to happen next. Because the Wheel of Fortune is, well, what's going to happen next? Because it keeps turning. So, yeah, sorry to say, but it looks, not for all of you. Remember, it's a general reading. But for some of you guys, you're not happy with what's being given in a role. Four of Cups energy. There's dissatisfaction with that Four of Cups. Thinking about suddenly just leaving the job, so just kind of like moving away, getting out, leaving the job, because this is like a sudden move, suddenly changing, suddenly moving the job. I think the Ace of Coins is the job, but worried about, well, what's the next stage, what's next? Let's finally look at love. Four of Swords, a card about withdrawal, or it can be a card about resolution or feeling comfortable. Yeah, you got that Four of Cups. What's going on, Scorp? Sorry, guys. The thing is, it is what it is. I don't choose the cards. The cards choose to come through to me. So it is what it is. I'm seeing a bit of withdrawal here. There's a lack of interest here with the Four of Cups energy. In terms of love this week. Queen of Wands. Some of you guys might be attracted or attracting in. I think that you're attracted to the idea of change with the Queen of Wands and the Death card, because she's attracting in a change. Okay, so I think that you're attracting in changes, or you're attracted to changes or a change. Queen of Cups energy. That's you there. So I'm seeing death, ending, rebirth, Queen of Wands. I mean, some of you guys might be withdrawing. You're not interested, no longer interested. It could be in this person here, a Queen of Wands. An ending showing here. Queen of Cups. It depends on how you want to read the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups can be somebody who's quite sad. So, but she doesn't look sad on the card to me. She looks like she's, but it feels like though there's an ending, your heart is open for more. That's how I would read that Queen of Cups, because her heart is open. She doesn't look sad to me. She looks like she's got the cup open and it's a massive cup. So it just feels like even though there's an ending here, your heart is ready for more. It's open to other things. And I feel that whether this is male or female, it can read both. This might be the person that you're ending things with. It could also be, though, readers, I think, that, yeah, there's a withdrawal here. There's a lack of interest now in a relationship here. Some of you guys are attracted to bringing in change. And you're opening your heart to more as well with that Queen of Cups, which I think is quite nice. So I see, even though I feel there's an ending in a relationship here for some of you guys, you're withdrawing or taking some time out, I think that you're ready for something else, okay? So let's quickly do this reading again before we finish Scorpio and we get the spiritual advice for the week. This looks like in your general area that there's something new, a new enterprise that you're engaging with the Three of Wands. But I think that you're going to have a choice to make with that Lover's energy. And I think you're making a choice between whether you engage, whether you carry on with this enterprise or not, because there's something hidden. There's something that doesn't add up with the High Priestess showing here. And I think that if we double up the High Priestess, your intuition is probably telling you, if we factored in the work reading here, because I think this might be around work, your intuition is telling you just to kind of like, you know, just suddenly just to up and leave whatever this job is. But I feel that that intuition is negated by the negative thoughts that you have, because I think there's a lot of worry here in terms of work about what the next phase will be. Okay, so these negative thoughts are negating the intuition that tells you just to up and leave the job, because you're worried here about what the next stage will be. But this energy here that's negating your intuition is also stopping you from seeing things clearly. With the Queen of Swords energy, it's also just stopping you from kind of seeing things objectively and clearly. I think these first 10 cards here are really about work. It's about something you start, it doesn't feel right, it's not right, and you're kind of like saying, you know what, I think I'm just going to leave this doesn't feel right to me. But you're worried if I leave it, you know, because some of you guys, you might be starting something and and I think that what you may have done is you might have put a lot of kind of onus on it to, you know, to perhaps help move you to a next phase. You know, some of you guys are making plans with the money, what you'll do with the money and that type of thing. But because it doesn't seem to be working out and your intuition is saying, you know, just leave the job. But you're kind of like, oh man, but I can't. I'm worried about, you know, the fortune that I'm building, or I'm worried about what the next phase is going to be. But it blocks you from seeing things clearly. And I'm going to ask what you should be seeing clearly. We're just going to quickly get a clarifier on this. I haven't used any clarifiers yet in any of these readings. Hang on, there we go. We use the Radiant Rider weight in a tin. What is it that Scorpios need to be seeing clearly? What is it that Scorpios need to be seeing clearly in 2 cards? The Queen of Cups energy. I think that you need to be seeing that, because the Queen of Cups in the work reading, which I think these 10 cards actually correlate to, is where your heart needs to be in it. The Queen of Cups, so this is your heart. When the Queen of Cups shows up in a work reading, it's about doing something that you love, or doing something that your heart is in with the Queen of Cups energy. I think that you need to see clearly that you're departing from that Queen of Cups, because this is a departure from that. So it's this negative thought is not only negating what your intuition is telling you, which is you should just really depart this because you're worried about what the next stage is going to be. You're worried about whether you know, what's going to happen to the fortune I'm building, or what's going to happen to the next phase. But also it's negating something that you should be seeing and looking at objectively and looking at clearly and honestly. And that is that actually, whatever this thing is, it's a departure from what you truly love. So it really, in a way, Scorpio, it's saying that you're not being authentic. This isn't something that you really like. Whatever this isn't something that's you. Because when we do something that we love, we're being our authentic selves. Really, you know, we're being our authentic selves. So there's a departure from from authenticity, if you like. You're not really, your heart isn't really in it. You know, so what you can't see clear, what you're ignoring is that your heart isn't really in it, because it's a departure from what you love. And that's what you've got to see clearly, that this isn't really you. It's not really you, and that you'll probably just be doing it for the money, you know, because this person's heart isn't in it. They don't really like it. They don't really want it. They've probably done something like this before with all those cups there. So really it's about paying attention to your true authentic self. I mean, some people would say it's silly. It's suicide to do it at this time, you know. People are losing their jobs left, right and centre. But for some of us, you know, if the heart's not truly in it, the heart's not truly in it. And if we're not truly doing what we love, sometimes that can just be death to the soul. So, yeah, very interesting. Let's have a quick look at the spiritual advice this week. So, be mindful with your money, honey. So it's telling you to be careful with your cash. Let's have a look this week. So, are you spending above your means, avoiding the reality of your bank account, shopping to numb any negative feelings or pain? It may be time to clean up your relationship with money, Scorpio. Let go of the fear and shame around your finances and take responsibility for your future today. Any unwise decisions you've made in the past are behind you. Seek guidance where needed and keep the big picture of your financial well-being in mind. Remember, money saved is money earned, okay? So yeah, it's a week for really being mindful of how you're spending your cash. And I think that in a way the ethos, Scorpio, of the reading for the week is to be mindful and to be true to yourself. Okay, it's to stand in your authenticity. These areas here, the first 10 cards, the general and the work, seem to speak the same language, where we have this enterprise here that you're starting off on this new enterprise, and you're launching this new enterprise, whatever that is, with a group. The lovers can be a group. So you're starting this new enterprise with this group of people. But I think that you have a choice. We'll double up that lovers. You have a choice to make, because I think with the high priestess energy that your intuition will say that actually your intuition is telling you something. Okay, your intuition is telling you something here. But I feel that your intuition is probably telling you that maybe in the work area here, because you're not really happy with what you're doing, what you've been given, you're not really happy with it. Maybe your intuition is telling you that you should just up and leave whatever this job is. But I feel that your intuition is negated by the negative thoughts of the Eight of Swords that suddenly turn up and say, oh man, but if you leave it, what are you going to do about money? What are you going to do about all the money you're saving? What are you going to do about, you know, if you leave it, you know, where to next? That's what you're doing. You're worrying about the next stage. You're like, well, what's going to happen next if I leave this thing? But it's also blocking, negating your the Queen of Swords. It's negating your ability to look objectively and honestly and truthfully and realistically at the situation. And that is that you aren't truly doing what you love, because it's a departure from something that you love. The Queen of Cups in a work reading is doing something that you really love. You know, some of you guys might work creatively and you're doing something that doesn't fulfill you. So in other words, you're kind of just doing something really mind-numbing that kind of doesn't enhance your skill, but kind of dumbs it down. So you really need to look at that. So that's about being authentic. And in this area here again, withdrawing from something that no longer satisfies you. It could be with this person, but also it could be that you're withdrawing from something that no longer satisfies you in love, and you're attracted to bringing in a change here, and you're opening your heart to that change as well. Okay, so really I think this week is about being authentic and being honest with yourself in everything that you do, whether it's in love, whether it's in career or any other area. It's about standing in your truth, being authentic and being honest with yourself. Okay, that is the reading for the week, Scorpio. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. If you'd like your own personal reading, click on the link in the comment section below. Go through to my website or in the end screen. Take care, guys. Have a great week. Bye-bye.